nicely played, sir. Evening, y'all. How you doing? My name's Peter Lund. I'm the director of a project called The Agency, and I'll get started now. I'm excited to be here today because I get to share with you something that's going to transform the way we game. Now, normally I'd start out with something funny, but I only have 5 seconds left in this slide, so I'm hoping we can skip the joke and go straight to lukewarm laughter. Oh, it kind of worked. So the geosocial layer is content overlaid on the world that we access through our technology, locations, and interests. It's one of the most exciting things going on in tech right now because it refocuses our attention back on the real world rather than on the screen. Let's look at the primordial tech swamp that Geosocial crawled out of. Back in the mid-90s, the web was a morass of disconnected information. Google managed to index this info, making it accessible to Joe Schmo. Think of him as our techie caveman. Joe's now able to search terms like how to hunt mammoth, and after the shock of discovering he's 10,000 years late, he hooks up with other ticked-off Holocene hunters on chat boards where they discuss things like the wheel and whatever else strikes their fancy. These online interactions evolved into the social layer. So Joe and his friends are interacting online, but he's still glued to his screen. Smartphones, GPS, and mobile internet then combined to change the tech scene. The geosocial layer was born, and Joe emerged from his cave to use his tech tools in the real world. Now, a tech talk wouldn't be complete without at least one boring graph, and so here it is. This year is the first where more smartphones and tablets will be shipped than desktops and laptops. In fact, some Japanese social sites have more than 85% of their content accessed through mobile devices. Geosocial is primed to ignite. I'm going to share with you today something completely new, a massively multiplayer game that takes place in real life. We call it the MMARG. Now, along with familiar concepts like leveling and questing, there are several things that make for a great geosocial game. The first is what Kleiner Perkins calls solo mo. Now, these are the basics of geosocial, apps that are social, local, and mobile. The second ingredient is real-world game space. The game needs to be immersive and fun, even though we don't get to ride around on combat bears. The third ingredient is self-sustaining gameplay. We can't employ thousands of people to stand around on street corners, and so we don't have the luxury of non-player characters, which are a mainstay of traditional MMOs. Gameplay has to exist with only the tech and players in the field. We also have to drive human behaviors. We can't rely on a certain specific set of actions that players use to achieve their goal, so a great geosocial game has to rely on a certain set of uniform player actions. Gameplay also needs to be adaptive, molding itself to every environment in which the game is played. The last ingredients are the basic motivators of complex human actions outlined by Dan Pink at TED. He IDs purpose, autonomy, and mastery as the things that drive people to create open source products like Wikipedia and Mozilla. A great geosocial game will motivate its players in the same way. So I'm about to show for you for the first time publicly a project that embodies these traits. It's called The Agency, and instead of pretending to be an elf on screen, we're going to let you be an international super spy in real life. If you pull out your smartphone for a second, you'll see that this is the most impressive spy toy ever invented. Any agent would shoot their martini out of their nose if they knew the type of spy toys that we carry around with us every day. These will become your tickets to a world of intrigue and espionage. My team is currently coding apps and software that will open up the super spy potential of your smartphones and tablets. Using basic geolocation communications and software tools will let you become a secret agent equipped with spy tools and even virtual weapons. Now let's set the stage. The US and EU declined during the recession, and a new Eastern bloc led by China have formed, pooling their resources, posing a clear threat to the West. Two agencies, Scion in the West and Sector in the East, are formed to fight the Second Cold War. Everyone will have the opportunity to join the fight by enlisting in the agency of their choice, taking on the role of either field agents, analysts, or mission support. You'll engage in missions ranging from dead drops to in-game sabotage, and play at a team level, competing in in-depth spy simulations and capturing controlling safe houses in a bid for global domination. Now let's run through a mission. A Scion agent leaves her office downtown and logs in to pick up a dead drop. A Sector mission controller at home logs in and dispatches an agent to intercept the drop. A Scion analyst is waiting for the intel to be delivered to complete his file for an upcoming safe house takedown. Sector leaves his coffee shop and heads towards his mark. If he can't pick up the drop, his orders are to neutralize his target with an in-game umbrella gun. He sees his mark and begins his approach, but Scion sees her tail just before picking up the drop and heads towards the nearest safe house. Right before he's in range, she ducks into the safe house. She and her intel are safe for now. Missions like this take place all around the world in the cities, shops, and restaurants where players live. They'll collect all freely available intel in their communities, creating a real-life intelligence database useful to both the public and private sectors. Google search bots index the internet. Geosocial gamers will index the real world. The opportunities provided by this type of game are vast. Mom and pop shops can utilize paper check-in ads to drive sales. Public and private interest can commission missions and simulations to test human dynamics in the real world. Games like this are the future of geosocial gaming, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to play with us. Thank you.